I love when Wes. I don't know sure how to tell you guys about this, but I got it all figured out. So you guys ready to talk about it right now? It's like we have no fucking idea what it is you're going to tell us, what it is you had confusion about before you told us, and then we're supposed to agree that, like, no, you got it figured out, champ. Let's hear it.
That's not, no.
That's how I like it, though. So, yeah, like, I'm cool with it.
I did drop you a line on our Facebook chat about kind of what it was going to be about.
Okay, Alan, what did you extrapolate from, like, hey, I'm going to start talking about eating stuff?
Yeah, like, I was gonna say, I didn't get a lot. Unless I missed a chat.
Nope, you didn't miss anything. You just got, like, we're going to talk about eating stuff. And then I was like, does he mean, like, eating stuff you shouldn't eat because you know it's going to irritate your stomach? Is he talking about, like, eating wild mushrooms out in the woods because, like, why not? They look like they're tasty. What is he, does he talking about, like, putting, like, a rusty screwdriver in your mouth to see what it tastes like? Is rust delicious? I don't know.
Yeah, remember, because in the 20 years that we've known each other, I mean, we've known each other longer than that, but the 20 years we've been friends, you know that I've, like, loved to go on hikes. I'm a big outdoorsman. You could find, I have a point system at Bass Pro Shop that's, like, platinum status. They're like, hey, Wes, we got some new stuff. We got some new Caballero in the back for you. I don't even know if I'm saying that correctly.
Who knows?
Caballero. Anywho, so my typical standard routine when we get done recording is once I end the call, we all say goodnight, leave. I then download the audio tracks and the video tracks. The video track takes a little bit longer, so then at that point I go upstairs, typically use the bathroom, crack another beer, and make myself a snack. More often than not, the length of our recording renders Sarah to not be in the living room. Okay, if that makes sense. Usually she's either getting ready for bed, laying down watching television, or in bed. I don't know if you guys recall, last week we got done pretty quick. I think it was like 10:30, 10:45 when we called it a night. And Sarah was still in the living room, and she said, oh, were you guys taking a break? No, we're actually done. Oh, wow, I got done early. That's great. Okay. My snack sometimes is something sweet. All right. In this case,
sometimes.
I mean, it's not all the time. I'd say about 70 to 80% of the time. 4/5. There were these Cheez-It sized cinnamon squares that Sarah bought. They have coconut oil on them. She's allergic to coconut, so she couldn't eat them. These are yours. Great. Saw them. Right next to them was peanut butter. And I got this idea. So did like a slab of peanut butter on there and a dollop or a teardrop size of chocolate syrup on it. I get the first one down. I'm constructing the second. And Sarah says, what are you making? And I point her out and she goes, no, don't eat that. I was like, what do you mean don't eat this? She's like, that is the dog peanut butter. I'm like, I look at the jar and it's a standard, regular, like store brand, Jif, but with a G, peanut butter. And so I'm thinking, because she does do snacks for the dog, if we go on a long car ride, she likes to freeze the bone and fill the middle with peanut butter. There's some other things that like peanut butter centric. I'm thinking, because then she did point out a different jar that we should be eating from. I'm thinking, okay, she bought this econo-sized piece of shit peanut butter for the dog. The humans get to eat the organic. To me, whatever, it doesn't matter, but okay, I'll abide by your rules. Then she then says, have you been eating that for a while? And then I'm like, so I tripled down. I'm like, no, what you just saw is what I've been eating. She's like, good, because this is dog-specific peanut butter. So it's not even human peanut butter. And here's the thing, Murr, before you ask a question, because I was like, no, I just had that. I just put one on that cracker that you just saw. She's like, okay, good. Knowing like 2 weeks ago that I filled an entire graham cracker, like a fucking 3-inch by 2-inch with an inch of peanut butter and then like 4 to 5 Tony Montana lines of fucking chocolate syrup. I was like, glop, 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 and made like 2 more. Jesus. I can't really ask her any more questions because then that would give up my, no, I didn't need it. Then my cover's blown.
Until about tomorrow this time when she's listened to the beginning at least of the podcast. And
she don't listen to this shit.
She listens to the snit bits, the
clips. Okay.
The TikToks and clips. She doesn't listen to its entirety.
Okay. One thing I need to know, what makes a peanut butter, specifically a dog peanut butter versus a human peanut butter? And then question number 2, were you more concerned that she would think that you were like, quote unquote, poisoning yourself with the dog peanut butter, or that you were, quote, wasting her dog's peanut butter on yourself, and the dog being more important than you in this particular situation.
All right. So to answer your first question, I don't know. I haven't looked it up, honestly. I've been wanting to kind of bury this. I think this is going to be the last conversation I have about it for a long, long time in my subconscious. So I don't know what the difference is between regular human peanut butter and dog peanut butter. I can tell you the taste. There's no difference. I mean, this tasted delicious. To answer your second question, her concern of my health versus wasting the dog, it might be the latter. She might. I mean, I don't think she likes seeing me fucking lather up Ritz crackers with inch worth of peanut butter dolloped in chocolate syrup for my health's sake. I don't think she enjoys watching me bow to her cone head this like that. But I think in this instance, it was probably like, hey, that's dog peanut butter. That's more expensive than our peanut butter.
Yeah. I think she's more concerned about you wasting the peanut butter than she is actually you messing up the lining of your stomach. I mean, you did say that, hey, we need to pause this little show thing for a minute because I got to take an emergency shit in the toilet before we start. So I wonder if maybe it's greased you up a little bit inside. I have a feeling that your dog peanut butter is just simply the peanut butter that me and your brother eat that's just ground peanuts with a little bit of salt for flavor in there, and that's all. I have a feeling that dog peanut butter is probably better than the sugary-filled Jif peanut butter that you normally intake.
Yeah.
So, it's funny that Murray says that because I was just looking it up, and it says that the real difference between dog peanut butter and many human brands is that it doesn't contain all the extra salt, sugar, oils, and flavorings.
Okay.
It's pretty much just peanuts.
So it's better for you. So the dog is getting a healthier version of the substance you should be consuming in the first place. You probably got yourself 9 solid grams of protein and no extra additives or preservatives in there. And the dog, you know what you should do? You should get up tonight with an X-Acto knife, and you should switch the labels of the peanut butter so you can have that sweet deliciousness on top of your graham crackers a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, in this instance, I initially felt like, okay, now that you guys have, and I credit you guys for being good friends and kind of walking me off the edge here, because it almost felt like I got caught eating milk bones, and then I denied it. I was like, no, I wasn't eating. I wasn't eating the dog treats. No.
Well, no, that's exactly what you did, and I still respect it.
Yeah, you definitely still did that. I'm not gonna lie. When I looked this up, I was hoping they were like, yeah, we sprinkled a little bit of fucking like chicken livers up in this bitch. Like I was hoping there was something disgusting in there that you didn't pick up on. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for me.
Dog estrogen or something like that.
Yeah. Just fish oils for your coat. You know what I mean? You get a thick, rich coat.
Yeah, something for shedding, something for like back dandruff. Yeah.
Well, your heartworms are probably gone. I mean,
yeah. I feel like I did have a better run the other day. Yeah. This is bogged down. Now, in terms of like being greased up, I'm not sure.
See, I thought you were going to get into like foods that you shouldn't eat, that like you just like you can't help yourself, like me and almonds. If I eat an almond, my tongue will swell up. However, I like those goddamn Blue Diamond almonds where they just like, I don't know what they do to them, but they put some sort of lacquer on them and then they coat them in the most delicious seasonings that have ever existed to man. And I don't even really know if I like the almonds or if I could just like eat the seasoning on a spoon and I'd be more satisfied. But so I'll do that to myself and then regret it for like 3 hours while my tongue, I literally scratch it with my fucking 4 fingers. There's that.
So you willingly do that knowing you're allergic to this?
Yeah, I mean, as I've grown older, I've limited myself. I'll maybe only do like maximum 10 almonds, and I'm like, then I'll suffer. There's whatchamacallit, Nature Valley makes it. It's called like sweet and salty nut. Great name, very marketable. They're very tasty, but they have like an almond spread on the bottom of them, and yeah, that'll itch me up. But I can't deny myself sometimes. It's like a healthy candy bar.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think almond is probably like my least favorite nut. I get what you're saying. Them Blue Diamonds, they do have some good flavorings. Like I'm with you there, but like I don't know. I don't know that if I was slightly allergic to an almond, I'd be like, yeah, like, give me them sweet almonds. Like, they're dry as shit. Like, they absolutely require that flavoring.
That's true, but they're like the meatiest of all the nuts. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to work for it. I mean, a cashew is a great nut, don't get me wrong, but they're expensive. They're not marketed quite as well as the almonds are. I think cashews kind of sell themselves. But, I mean, you get yourself an almond. I mean, you got yourself a good bite.
There's some of the rest.
I'm a pistachio guy. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, those are good. Some of the speaking of that, or almonds and or pistachio. Some of the restaurants are really getting into the nut crusted like fillet of fish. You know, salmon or almond crusted, pistachio crusted. You know, have you seen this, Murph? Have you dabbled your toe into the nut crusted fish?
No, I'm not a big fish guy any which way, and I think Maria and I finally went out to a restaurant for the first time in about 5 years for our anniversary a week ago. And we had a gift card. That's how old and married we are.
Did you say I'll have this, and then she'll have something at equal or lesser value? Is that how romantic you were?
Yep.
No, I said we got a $50 gift card to the Texas Roadhouse, baby. You order whatever you want off that menu, because I'm getting me the cowboy cut bone-in ribeye. That's how we're rocking this joint. And I had like the weirdest fucking waiter. His name was Brian, and Brian could only be described as every security guard that Chris Farley's ever played, where you kind of like came in slow but had a real fast twitch at the very end. And that motherfucker, by the way, so
don't kill the lead. By the way, don't kill the lead.
No, yeah, you got it. So our food comes out. Marie and I are chatting, and then Brian comes around the corner. It's like weird, like 2-finger slide across the table, and it's like stops. Like, so how'd that food come out for you? I was like, hey man, looks great, dude. Thanks a lot. And he's like, did you cut into that ribeye yet? Like, no, Brian, it looks great though. I think we're good. He's like, why don't you go ahead and cut into that ribeye for me? I was like, nah, man, listen, no matter how it's cooked, I'm going to enjoy it. I appreciate it. He's like, let's go ahead and cut into that ribeye for me. And I took one slice through and I was like, looks great, Brian. Thanks. He's like, all right, well, you just call me if you need me. You got it, Brian. You son of a bitch.
Brian sounds like a hell of a waiter.
Yeah. Hang tight on Texas Roadhouse. I got a good one about that. But Alan, remember that place we worked at off of Key Highway, Tabrizi's? We both served there for a cup of coffee, and their big thing was what you hinted at, Murr, was don't wait halfway through their meal to ask how things are going. You know, the annual, like, hey, everything all right? Can I get you anything? Re-up on drinks? They say usually get them at about 1 or 2 bites in, because by that point they'll know if something's wrong and they can take it back immediately, not halfway through the meal. And there was always some weird moments where you're just kind of standing by waiting, and the person's like gets it to their mouth and then has a thought and starts talking like, "Oh, I gotta back up, get it to the mouth." Oh, now I'm thirsty, dude. And yeah, you're kind of like, Jesus Christ, this is such a fucking waste of time.
Like every comedy movie where they've poisoned them, but they just like, oh. Yeah,
it's like, can I just let them eat a little bit and then I'll get it was always weird.
To Brian's credit, I understand why he had to try to force me to cut into my own steak. I get it, because there was some other asshole that like didn't cut into his steak, and then Brian was off doing something else, and then it's like, oh, this isn't cooked right. And then you got another 30 minutes, and then you fucked up a steak, and then it can't be sold, and yada, yada, yada. But Brian was, whatever. He got his 24% tip from me, so he can kiss my asshole.
Nice. And you got the turf and turf. What did Maria get? A salmon crusted T-bone or something like that?
No, she got the chicken fried steak with the white gravy.
Solid.
Yeah. But I did not know this. Now, I've been trying to eat healthy, so I said, okay, I'm going to get the steak. That is what it is. I don't care. I want a steak. I want a good ribeye. And then I was looking through, and I'm like, okay, mixed vegetables. That's really vague. I'm not sure what I'm getting with that, so I'm going to go with the green beans. Well, the green beans come out, and apparently Texas Roadhouse simply puts their green beans inside a vat of bacon grease, and that is how the green beans are cooked. Not only that, they leave chunks of bacon in with the green beans, which kind of defeats the purpose of having a healthy option green vegetable meal on the side if you're just simply going to use, molten bacon grease to fucking fry them in.
Is that all green beans almondine or something like that? Green
don't
beans
know.
with almonds?
Yeah. I feel like green beans is one of those ones that like green beans. Look, I don't hate green beans, but like by themselves, they're kind of just meh. You know what I mean? Like, so like when I go out and I see green beans on the menu as like just a standalone side, I'm like, oh, that's coming in like a cup of butter, or like, you know what I mean, in bacon grease with bacon bits all over it, because it's kind of just whack.
I
You know what I
guess.
mean? Like, I think like other vegetables, like if you're like Brussels sprouts, I get Brussels sprouts. They're not as dressed up and like buttery and oiled and shit like that. You know what I mean? Things of that nature.
Yeah, but I like the earthiness of a good, like, just steamed green bean almost.
I mean, I feel you, dog. I like green. I like all vegetables.
Unfortunately,
But-
when you're going out to the Texas Roadhouse, steamed green
Yeah.
beans aren't an option, bro.
That's
Yeah.
fair. And then I was like, all right, I'm gonna have the sweet potato instead of fries or mashed potatoes. I'm gonna have the sweet potatoes. But then Brian came in, and Brian's like, oh, we got some there's some toppings for that. I was like, yeah, what you got? He's like, well, we got honey, brown sugar, we got honey butter, and I kind of just went, ooh, Brian, you know what? I like all those. He's like, I got you, friend. And then he walked away and came back, and it was just layered with like candy on top, essentially. And then I read the menu, and it said, by the way, all of our sweet potatoes are lathered in bacon grease before baking. So I'm like, thousands of calories on healthy dishes.
And that's probably a station in the kitchen, the lather station.
The bacon lather. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one single, 5 square feet of space in the Texas Roadhouse is nothing but just like bloop, and they put it on a conveyor belt off to the chefs.
I have a feeling that your steaks are fried in bacon fat. I don't even know. I didn't even see bacon on the menu. I think they're just rendering pork belly down for a cooking ingredient. And I know why it was good, because all the people in the back were of Hispanic descent.
Yeah.
In fact, they have the chef's name written on a chalkboard in there. It had a J and I think 2 X's. And I was like, this is going to be fucking good.
That makes sense.
Yeah, they all doubled.
Yeah.
The name.
I was gonna say, like it is the newest fucking Honduran in that kitchen, just making up some bacon, pouring grease on things, like ladling bacon grease onto fucking green beans. That's one whole station. It's good living.
He doesn't even. Go ahead.
No, I think Wes said it earlier. Fucking Texas Roadhouse, man. I mean, I get what you were striving for in trying to be like, let me get a healthy alternative, but you knew what you were getting yourself into.
Yeah, I cared, but I didn't care. I cared to the fact that I was going to try to, but then I didn't care if it wasn't what I strove for.
Yeah. The new chef, Jay and 2 X's. Yeah, he's the type of guy, whatever the name is, he's the type of person, he doesn't even have to go through new employee orientation to learn the Texas Roadhouse way. He's hired, he shows up, he throws an apron on, he looks at the menu, he shakes his head, he fucking pumps it out. And you cut into it, and Brian's like, that good? And I'm like, thanks, Brian. You got the dessert menu?
Tell Chef Juan Zinu that I give my regards.
Thank you. Middle class souls, everyone. I wonder if Texas Roadhouse will dabble in the dog peanut butter. I might have to pitch them an idea of a healthier peanut option for desserts. Middle class souls, everyone. Foxman, Alan, Murr. Listen, this past weekend was an amazing sports weekend. It was great. It was just from top to bottom. The second leg of the Triple Crown of horse racing, the Preakness, right here in our own backyard, was on Saturday. Post time at 7:00. Bob Baffert horse wins. He's tied for the most winningest jockey in Preakness history. The Western and Eastern Conference Finals of the NBA were in full action. I don't know if you're. I'm not a NCAA softball or baseball fan, but those tournaments are going on. Those are a big deal. A lot of people don't realize it was a Friday, Saturday, Sunday weekend Major League Baseball attendance record. Something like the most attended games across Major League Baseball and weekend series, like 40 years. People are coming out in groves. People are enjoying baseball again. A lot of this was overshadowed by the PGA Championship. Congratulations to Brooks Koepka. Won his 3rd PGA Championship, 5th major overall. Did it in dominant fashion. This was overshadowed by, and Murr, unbuckle your belt, loosen up your fly. You're about to get an erection here because this is an underdog story of all underdog stories.
I'm aware, because of the TikTok, like, you can't avoid this kind of shit, man. I saw Homeboy dunk his hole in one. I know where you're going with this.
Michael Klock, a teaching / tour. He's not a tour pro, but a teaching pro who has competed in a few tournaments, PGA, semi PGA tours all over. He teaches outside, of course. He's a pro outside of Los Angeles. He was given one of 24 exemptions by the PGA Tour of America. They do this every PGA Championship every year. He was one. Now, a lot of these people, and actually a vast majority of these people who have gotten this exemption, they play the 2 days, they meet a couple pros, they shake a few hands, they take some pictures, they go back home Saturday morning, and they're like, no, that was an opportunity of a lifetime. Amazing. I got to play with the world's best. Well, this guy made the cut, okay, and then was knocking on at the door of the top 10, faltered a little bit on holes 13 and 14, needed to make the top 15 to get an exemption to next year's tournament, sinks a hole in one on 16, makes a dramatic up and down on 18 to secure his 15th place finish. Now, this guy is not some schlep, Rory McIlroy, Kevin Costner extraordinaire, tin cup. He's like a 4 handicap. He's shot a 59 before, albeit his home course. So this guy's not some weekend hack. He's really, really good. But this was amazing. Merz, have you softened it all since Sunday?
Dude, I love you guys have talked about this before. I think there was a guy in South Carolina who accidentally got an invite because he had the same name as the person they meant to invite to the thing. And I said, he should play and see what happens. You're like, nah, fuck that. You should go around, shake hands, wake up on Sunday morning and be like, that was a great experience. I got that experience in my lifetime. And this guy actually fucking went out there and did exactly what I said you should do if you get the invite. And he fucking made the most of it. So, yeah, man, I was happy for that guy. But I do have a small bone to pick with Mr. Block and his hole in one. See, everybody's like, that's a great shot. I want to argue with you guys as golfers. Was it a great shot, though? Because when you're trying to put a ball on the green, aren't you trying to hit either beyond the hole and bring it back or bump and run where it hits the front of the green and then rolls towards the hole? So in my opinion, that was a bad shot that he got lucky on. Am I wrong?
Well, I mean, it's a hole in one, so it's like impossible to call it a bad shot. You know what I mean? I get what you're saying, but in this instance, I think it's like one of those fucking gray areas where you're just like, nope, it's neither. It's just good. It can't be bad.
To answer your question, yes, you're usually reading pin placement and slope in terms of like how you want to hit the shot. In this case, I don't remember, if that was on an upslope or downslope or whatever. But typically, yes, pro or guys of his caliber are looking to play a grade of the green with a certain type of distance and then have it trickle, towards the hole, whether that be downhill, uphill, side, or whatever, and create that type of spin. You don't see the dunk though. Like the hole in one is typically a bounce in, or as you mentioned, a little bit farther with a tremendous amount of backspin and it carries back. Or you just get super lucky on, a break there, But the old fashioned bloop, I haven't seen that.
Dude, especially with the flag in like that, which obviously it's going to be, but like, I mean, he fucking Kobe'd that motherfucker. It was dunk. Like there was like you didn't even he was like, it's in the hole, like it's in, because you didn't hear like that clank of hitting the actual post. You heard nothing. It was just all of a sudden the ball came down and just didn't exist anymore, and it's just like holy shit. So congratulations to this guy, dude. I mean that's and he was all weepy and rightfully so. I'm not mocking him for it. Like, it's rare to see sports athletes emotional for their accomplishments anymore. And so that's what made it kind of great for me.
Yeah. I think you can go back over the last 30, well, even more than that, like probably 40 or 50 years and dig up guys who came out of nowhere to win. Okay, guys who are like ranked 300th in the world. All right, and that's winning a major championship, regardless of where your standing is or how well you are or aren't playing, whatever, is impressive. But like there was a guy, I think it was like the '86 Masters, the guy who beat Greg Norman on a ridiculous chip in on the first playoff hole. I think that's his only win on the PGA Tour ever. And when going into that tournament, he was like that's ranked like I don't know 300th or 400th in the world. I think what this guy did is more impressive than that.
How's that?
Because this guy's not a touring pro, he's competed, I think, in a handful of low-level professional events over the course of the last 20 years. And he's a teacher. He makes his bones by teaching fucking fat retirees outside of Los Angeles.
Yeah, he runs a club, basically. He's a club pro.
He's a club pro.
Okay, but doesn't that mean that you are always if the PGA? I mean, is it really that like willy nilly that they hand out these teaching pro cards to just I don't know like? Could either one of you, if you decided like let's say tomorrow you guys won enough money off the lottery that you didn't have to work anymore, and you just decided to spend all your time like golfing, and then you got pretty good and you went down to like the local country club, could you guys become teaching pros?
No, because Alan, go ahead, Alan.
Yeah, so yes, in theory, like any old regular person, like our friend, our fraternity brother, his wife, her family is like club pros. You know what I mean? So like, yeah, you can absolutely like if that's what you want to do, you got to be. I forget what there is PGA rules, and you have to pass certain classes and shit like that, and like. But yes, then you can become certified to be a club pro, and it's more than just golf. It's like actually running a golf club. You know what I mean? Like the operations of a golf club and shit like that. So like that's what that guy does. Like his day-to-day life is like lessons to the fat retirees, making sure that the golf club is like running smooth and fucking members are happy and shit like that. Like that's the guy's job.
Yeah, it's called Q School. There's a couple of
accredited. Well, that's to become a tour pro.
No, I thought. Hold on. So I thought there's accredited like schools that teach you the business side. They teach you like club fitting, how to actually like not manufacture but fix clubs. Then they teach you the business side. Day-to-day operations, et cetera. Lawn. Then you have to have like a certain like aptitude of. Lawn care, how to manufacture like greens, how to not manufacture, but how to cut greens, how to maintain the property. And then I thought the end of Q School is you play the same course 2 days in a row and you have to shoot net 160 or below, meaning you have to shoot 80 or below that on a PGA Tour rated course. I don't know what it is. As part of the qualifications. The reason I know this because I had a friend who got caught cheating because he couldn't actually. He did everything else, but he couldn't do the actual golf portion of it.
Well, the only reason I ask though is like I feel like if you put your 10,000 hours in, driving, chipping, putting, and then you were actually employed to like teach this to other individuals, like your skill set's there. Maybe your competitive edge isn't there. But maybe you just haven't had the opportunity to show off your competitive edge. Maybe you haven't had the opportunity to show off how much ice water you have in your veins. And this guy finally gets the chance to pull that off. Like, he's got all the physical tools to be able to perform it. He just never had the opportunity. And then he gets the opportunity, and lo and behold, he gets 15th and probably wins more money than he would have made in the next 3 years of actually working. And, now maybe he can concentrate on it. Maybe he comes back around. Maybe he becomes a name, a low-level name, but a name.
They did say he would have, what he earned that weekend would have been the equivalent of like 1,700 lessons that the year. Yeah. I will say, I think these guys, not all of them, but some of them are capable in spurts. Okay. I don't think they're capable tournament to tournament to tournament. For instance, I think he played today because he got an exemption to play and stunk it up. So I think these guys are capable again, and he was able to do it over the course of 4 rounds. But over weeks, months, years, I just don't think they have the consistency to do that. Like the real touring pros. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I was doing some research.
And that's And he had a decent sponsorship. I don't know who it was from.
I saw him rocking a Raising Cane's patch on his fucking arm today, so I'm sure he's getting them sweet, sweet chicken strips.
So here's
his deal.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Here's the real conspiracy theory. This got tossed around, not only in a couple friends chat things that I'm involved in, but a couple Facebook golf dealies. Is that if Liv might make a play
for him?
Yeah, to get some like a star attraction, flash in the pants.
Maybe.
No,
probably not.
No, I mean,
turns his back to the PGA. Thank you, PGA, and all the 29,000 PGA professionals like myself. And then Liv just gets that Saudi money. He's like, "Oh, I gotta go."
Hey, did the guys who went to the Live event? Are they back in the PGA?
A Live guy won it. Or? A Live guy won that tournament. Koepka.
Okay, all right.
He just won it.
Yeah.
So that was a real slap on the wrist for 2 minutes?
There was no real slap on the wrist.
The thing of it is they I don't want to get real dorky with golf. They're unable to obtain world golf ranking points, okay? And then if you haven't won a tournament, so people who are in Live who have exemptions, who haven't won the PGA Championship, which gets you like a 15-year exemption, their time's running out, if that makes sense.
Okay. All right. Whatever. I don't care. I just think
and it's simply it's because Live doesn't play. They don't do they do shotgun starts. They do 3 rounds instead of 4. No cuts. If they just did it like the PGA Tour, the World Golf Rankings would then recognize them and then give them points. But they don't play the standard golf, quote unquote.
But other tours around the world play a similar style to Live. And not 4 days of golf, and not 4 rounds, and do all of this other shit, and get world golf ranking points. So that's why the Live argument is that it's fucking bullshit. And one of the Live golfers just won a fucking major.
I'm not saying I agree or disagree, but who receives world golf ranking points that don't play 4 rounds?
Yeah.
I'm asking you, who?
Oh, me? There's fucking I think the Asian Tour fucking doesn't always play 4 rounds in all of their tournaments. I know the DP World Tour has had multiple occasions where they fucking not played 4 rounds. There is definitely instances of smaller tours that are all partnered with the PGA that don't play fucking 4 rounds of golf.
That I didn't know. That I did not know. Okay. I have sided with Liv to an extent. Now, the whole thing is like they jumped ship knowing that this was going to be the case and then whined about it.
Yeah.
But I mean, they're some of the world's best. So just fucking whatever, give them the points, and you can figure it out. I'm just saying, I didn't realize that. I thought
the points because it seems like this has outlined that the points is just dumb.
Yeah,
it's just fucking like you've got the best golfers in the world. You want to see them play at these majors. Let them fucking play.
Yeah, no, I watched that. I watched that Netflix docu series, which was amazing, by the way. Which really, that was a great idea on all parties. Whoever set that whole thing up and sold it to Netflix and all that jazz, it let me get to know these golfers and give half a shit about some of them. It also made me a little more sympathetic to some of the lower level guys that decided they wanted to go over and play, because it's like, I got to grind it out week after week, month after month, leave my family, charter my own private jet with the hopes that I win some cash to pay for it for the weekend, or I just spent $100,000 out of pocket that I may not make up unless I'm good enough to win the next one, or at least come in like 10th. And then this Live Golf is like, hey, we're just going to pay you a contract. You get paid the same whether you win or lose. People want to see you play, no matter how you play. And it's like, oh, that makes sense.
You get paid whether you win or lose, and you get paid more if you win.
Yeah.
It's like, honestly, that's my wife's theory on Brooks Koepka. Like, because we watched that documentary together, and she was like, my man was stressed the fuck out because he's got this bougie-ass wife in this mansion in fucking Miami, and he needs to uphold that. And he's fucking playing like donkey dick, and he's not making any money, and he's spending money. And then Live Golf was like, do you want this ton of money to just do whatever? And he was like, yup, now I can focus on my game. He got his coaching staff all fucking back, and this guy's winning majors.
Yeah. Well, he's also, hold on, he was to be fair, now listen, I agree with you that in part. He was playing like donkey dick because he slipped, dislocated his kneecap,
He had a lot of injuries.
then tried to pop it back in place himself, and then fucked himself up more doing that. He tried to Bo Jackson himself, and while he's a specimen, Bo Jackson.
Bottom line, though, by the way that documentary went, like matching him up with like Scotty Scheffler and like being like just the tale of two cities right there, like Captain Christian, the probably the only woman he's ever had sex with, mixed with Brooks Koepka. The Brooks Koepka who married like some chick who slid into his fucking DMs on Twitter and is like an OnlyFans model, and he lives in like this glass house. It's like, what is going on here? This is interesting. I know why people don't like this human being, and it was almost like, It almost made me feel good that he was losing, and then when he was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go make all this money over here, and whether I win or not, it's gonna be like more money than most third world countries make in 10 years." I'm like, I understand, Holmes. I don't like you, but I appreciate your candor.
Yeah, he was courtside at the Heat game. You know why? Because he had the week off after he won the PGA Championship. It's like, the fruits of my labor here.
There's a fucking video of him at like, was it the Florida Panthers, the hockey team?
Oh, okay.
And he's like, somebody commented that my man, like, my man is on the fucking booger sugar and just on a fucking bender, because my man stands and claps for like a solid 2 minutes. Like, that's way too much clapping, and my man's eyes are fucking the size of goddamn satellite dishes. Like,
when you
and it looked and they were side to side like he was watching a fucking tennis match.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, they're not even moving. It's icing. They're putting the puck on the floor, on the ice right now.
It's fucking intermission, actually.
He's watching like a halftime fucking like, I know, dog catch a frisbee act. Whoa!
It's all yayed up at a playoff game.
Yeah, you get your hands on some of that Miami fish scale, bro. If I could change your life. Change your life. I see. By the way, I see that Savannah Bananas hat on. Woo-wee. Look at you. I reckon it's coincidentally I saw a short today of one of their batters hitting a fucking single in stilts and then running it out to first base. And I'm not talking about like fucking, who was it? Steve-O and Jackass dicking around on stilts. These things made this guy like 12 feet tall. Made these things like he could like lick the top of a backboard.
I forget. I gotta figure out what network it's on. I'll send it to you. But there's a documentary about them, like the tryouts to build that team.
Yeah.
And like that dude, they talked to the dude on stilts. His whole family's been stilting. His family's been stilting from Appalachia since like the 1800s. It's wild shit, bro.
I saw a guy.
That's not where I saw that going. That's funny as shit. His whole family's he comes from a long lineage of stilters.
Yeah, famous stilters.
I saw a video on TikTok of a guy. I guess he played like second base for the Bananas, and he gave here's Bananas baseball in 2 minutes or less. Games are 2 hours. Period. Done. Doesn't matter what the score is. If 2 hours, it's over. Something about like you hit a home run, like you have to sprint around the base path. If you slow down, if the fan throws the ball back, they can throw you out at home. Like, there's all these amazing rules. It's just like, how is this not successful? Like, this should just be developmental baseball rules all the way around the league.
They also do. It's not runs. It's so. Say we're playing against each other.
Inning.
Your team scores 5. My team scores 3. You get one for that inning.
Yes, you play every inning counts as one, almost like a boxing match.
Yeah.
You won that round.
Yeah.
I guess it's like I watched the ESPN 30 for 30 on it, and it was impressive. Simply because this owner and his wife just poured their blood, sweat, and tears into this to make it what it is. And they have this fucking town, and I say town, it's a city. Savannah's a city in an absolute frenzy. It's just, I watched that because people said, I didn't care about baseball at all. I knew it was a thing, but now we have season tickets and we come to it all the time. And as a baseball fan and a purist, when I watch these TikToks of like this pitcher dancing to like fucking Milkshake or like do that thing in a minute, I'm gonna need a sentimental. And then he's balk, 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 and then he throws a pitch, and then he strikes the guy out, and the crowd goes in a fucking goddamn like a pinata busted open and bananas sprayed all over the fucking field. It's just like I might spend $20 on a ticket to like for the theatrics.
Yeah, that's the thing. You're getting a game and a show. I mean, what's wrong with that?
You get all
It's
fucking
not even a game.
You can't fucking suspend belief for 2 hours and just enjoy some entertainment.
I think there's a certain like WWF aspect to it where it's not predetermined, but
well,
you know.
Okay, I got to throw the first pitch out at a Delmarva Shorebirds game. Okay, like that's basically developmental league for the Baltimore Orioles, and they like I can't remember. There was somebody that like they were rehabbing from like Tommy John's. I don't know, like just name a pitcher from 5, 6, 7 years ago, and they were rehabbing. So like the stadium was filled because this person was there, and they were gonna play like a game, and then the next game they were gonna go up to the Bowie Bay Sox, and they were gonna go up to the like these teams, these lower level teams like that, like they're not really teams because they're just kind of hodgepodge. We're going to put this person here that needs to be here for this reason and that reason. There's no real reason for them to play a season. Like they're not there for like, yay, they won, but that winning doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is the major leagues.
I get it. Yes. If you're there for a long period of time, a season and a half, something's wrong. Right? That's what you're getting at. These hodgepodge teams. The goal is to make it to the major leagues. You shouldn't be in AAA for a season and a half to 2 seasons. Obviously, you're not developing in a certain light. And I get it. I think if I lived in like, let's say, I don't know, Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, or Louisville, Kentucky, I would attend those games. I don't need to see stilts and fucking choreographed second base, shortstop, pitcher, catcher fucking dances that are reminiscent of, I don't know, Rihanna meets the fucking Phantom of the Opera to be entertained.
Yeah, well, like, again, I don't think you're getting, like, I mean, maybe somebody does, but, like, I don't think this is, like, a season ticket's worth of fucking banana ball. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, like, a touristy, maybe one-time thing once a month if you live in Savannah and just get all shit-faced and go have a good time. Like, they do have a competitive team that plays in a competitive league. They do the fucking gimmick shit to raise money for said fucking minor league endeavors. Mm-hmm. So fucking, it is a good cause. Just fucking be cool, man.
Listen, I applaud the business model. I applaud. No, hold on. First of all, I think that there are season tickets holders. Throws a pitch, it's a strike. Pinata busts open. I mean, this is where the fucking guy with the cannon and the hot dog pit should come into play. Except a pool of bananas, muddy, mushy, fucking rotten bananas that they didn't sell in the fucking banana stand. They should have a Blues banana stand, by the way. That should be, God, that'd be great. Well, hold on. You say it's more touristy. I don't think there's enough tourists flooding the Savannah area to sell out each and every night during home games.
I mean, how big is the fucking stadium, buddy? Are we like, are we talking like, yeah, I think it's like, because Kelly has definitely looked into tickets. I feel like it's like 2,500 fucking tickets a night. You know what I mean? Like, it's not, again, it's like, it's just a thing. It's like, I don't think, nobody's going and keeping the book. Like, there's the 75-year-old couple just keeping the book at the Savannah Banana Ball game. Right. You know what I mean? They might go to the actual Savannah Bananas competitive fucking Gulf Coast League, whatever fucking game.
Yeah.
But, dude, this is just a thing.
4,000 people. 4,000.
Grayson Stadium. This is the Universal Circus of fucking baseball. You know what I mean? Like,
the umpire like sweeps home plate to like Milli Vanilli and does a fucking full split, and he weighs like 300 pounds and has a beard.
I watched one where 3 pitchers like did the wind up while dancing to some fucking song like Wes was complaining about, and then only one of them threw the pitch, and it was a strike, and the umpire rung him up, but then he twerked on the fucking guy who he rung up, and that's hilarious to me. I don't see how that's not fun. Like, you know what I mean?
Harlem Globetrotters, right? Like, how many kids got into basketball because they went to a Harlem Globetrotters game? It's good for the sport. It may not be the purest form of it, but, you know, neither was NBA Jam. But how many kids got into the fucking playing basketball because, I don't know, Akeem Olajuwon dunked from half court?
Yeah, I mean, I guess if, you know, some sort of trade, such as stilting, is coming to a dead end, and you know how to hit a baseball in stilt, or unicycle, or handstand, and you have the bat in your feet, or let's just say, hypothetically, you know, a monkey that can play third base. And it would be a great team. I mean, all the bananas a monkey can eat.
There's a rodeo clown. There's definitely a rodeo clown.
Yeah, is that right? Oh,
yeah.
God, they should have more than a rodeo clown. They should have a monkey on the back of that clown.
I just don't understand why other developmental teams haven't copied the model. Like, look, I know the Aberdeen Ironbirds are right down the road. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to go to a game unless, like, I don't know, like maybe Gunnar Henderson gets hurt and is like, I gotta go warm up.
Their number one draft pick is playing there right now, Jackson Holiday.
Yeah, and he'll be there for, what time is it? And then he'll be on to some other league, and you'll never see him again.
Got about another month-ish, maybe. Yeah.
So maybe you've got 4 games to have the opportunity to see that guy. Or I could go see, who cares, fucking stilt his way around the fucking base of the path. That's what I'm saying. Every night of the week. And when Stilty McStiltonstein moves on to the next fucking level, they'll get another Stilty McStiltonstein to come in and perform the same task.
His cousin. He's not as good of a hitter, but he's got the stilts.
Yeah.
All right. Quick. He's quick. He's quick on this. He's a little bit faster than his brother, Limber McStiltonston, whatever. Now you guys are thinking about this.
On his stilts.
Fucking the tryouts must be outrageous. You know what? Better not throw a banana peel at the first baseline. Old Stilt McStiltons might go in the DL. Fucking Donkey Kong style. All right. Typically, we save this segment for Before You Go, but tonight's Before You Go, we're going to pay tribute to a former great NFL player, and I'm going to throw this in there, a former great performer and singer, 2 of which who passed away this week. So, on tonight's Good Bad Movie of, we say the month, it's more like every 6 weeks, it's my choice. And tonight we got a great movie. It's called Airhead, circa 1993, star-studded cast. But let me set the foreground for you folks. A would-be up-and-coming band consisting of Brendan Fraser, Steve Buscemi, and Adam Sandler, fresh off the heels of SNL. They realize that they're not going to get anywhere touring the jam session club scene in outer greater Los Angeles, so they want to heckle the would-be KYZX, KKRP, whatever the radio station is.
Too many Ks, buddy.
Too many Ks. Right. Sorry. To play their song. So they realize like they're not going to do it, so they break in one day, and then they hold up the station with guns, and then hilarity ensues. Chris Farley, Michael McKean, who's the DJ? Christ, I should have had this up.
Joe Montana,
Michael Richards, a la Kramer from Frasier, Ernie Hudson.
Or Seinfeld.
What did I say? From Kramer? Yes, from Seinfeld. Yes. Christ, David Arquette. The list goes on and on. Anyway, Judd Nelson, sorry, as Jimmy Wing, the station manager. So finally, they're able to... they blow up their quarter inch because they don't have it in the station. They have to wheel one out. They're able to find the cassette to play their demo. They gets it done. They have hostages. Everything. They don't get the record deal. They end up playing in the jail that they get after they get arrested. Have I set the scene?
You've set more than the scene. You just did like the entire cereal box version of the movie.
Yeah. Wasn't that what I'm supposed to do?
No. Just to summarize, you got these three juggalos who are trying to get themselves a music deal. They can't seem to break through. No one will hear their music for them. If they just knew, a la Boogie Nights and Mark Wahlberg, if someone would just listen to it, we'd have a record deal. And they find a way to get the music to the people and win over the hearts and minds of the public.
And you know how they do find a way. Water guns that look like guns.
Which was actually a problem in the early 90s.
That's correct. That is correct. You know what else was also a problem? Every now and then, if you were a musician who was trying to play a demo for someone who might sign you, you might not have a CD or a cassette, but you might be carrying around a quarter-inch, which is a reel-to-reel. And then that right there, if you guys, Mur, did you watch the movie? Alan, did you watch it?
Yeah, I watched it last night.
I did not watch it last night, but I've seen it plenty of times.
Some of the verbiage when they insult each other they call each other dick face, ass face, dick fuck, ass shit a lot. Early 90s. Beavis and Butthead prank call the station. If you remember the hat.
I was going to bring that up too. And he sends somebody on their way. Have you just get out of here and you can get home before the Simpsons. And I'm like, holy shit. As old as this movie is, both of these references, the Beavis and Butthead and the Simpsons reference, are somehow still quasi-relevant.
Yeah. That's right. The late, great Chris Farley, who plays a security guard, as you mentioned, Murr, early on, has to go and find. It makes a great, I hate to call it a cameo. He's got something like 20, 25 lines in there.
Well, he's a rookie cop. He's trying to play things by the book. And his commanding officer is like, sometimes you got to improvise. And he rips that guy's nipple ring out and he says, what are you doing? Improvising.
That's right. A couple of things that I noticed as I rewatched it. Do you realize do you remember the scene when they're making requests for things? They just start ordering random shit to then later on that they complete insanity. Remember this? They're just coming up with requests.
Yeah, a football helmet filled with cottage cheese and nonsense like that.
Nude pictures of B. Arthur. I didn't realize this, Alan, when I was pledging in the fraternity that we're both in, during our scavenger hunt night, someone requested that. And I always was like, why did he say nude pictures of B. Arthur? And just watching it last night, I was like, oh, I missed that. I've seen this movie 1,000 times. And I nude pictures of B. Arthur. Of course, the... what's her face from Golden Years? So
Golden Girls.
Golden Years. She was in Frasier. She made a cameo in Frasier. 29% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I know. I'm looking at this and 50% audience score. Now, my whole reasoning for watching it was I looked up the score, and because you said it was a good bad movie, I was like, there's no way this is like bad from any critical standpoint. I watched this last night, and some of the shit we've talked about as far as good, bad movies are concerned, I mean, Alan did fucking Chairman of the Board from a Carrot Top movie.
I know.
Completely earned its fucking ranking. This, to me, was just a solid, entertaining movie. Like, nothing more, nothing less. It wasn't trying... I almost feel like when you rank something like this, did you expect it to win an Oscar? Like the critics who reviewed this, like, did you think it was going to be nominated for anything other than entertaining? Like, no. There's nothing wrong with this movie. In fact, I found it to be very clever. I felt there were several, like, plot twists that you weren't expecting. I mean, he was just simply going to the radio station. They were just trying to break in to go, like, say, hey, can you play our demo for us? And then things went squirrely. Everything, it was kind of like that perfect storm. Oops, I still have these water guns filled with hot sauce in my book bag. Oop, bring that out. Uh-oh, hostage situation. Blobbity, 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 blah. On down the line. It was just a good, solid, entertaining, sophomore-ish kind of movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a couple things that I know. Michael McKean, Milo. Such a great schmuck name.
Milo, it's a terrible name.
But of course, he's the big thing is he's without telling any of the employees that the station's going to soft the sounds of the rain. Everyone's getting fired. Another thing when Joe Mantegna, Ian, the disc jockey, who's kind of bulletproof, he thinks that like the reason you have ratings is because of me. He asked them about their tattoos, and Brendan Fraser's like, "Yeah, I got this barbed wire." I thought that was good, Murr. That you enjoy that. Another great one. Do you remember when Michael Richards' character, ends up contacting and I don't even know, Ernie Hudson's character, they had the authority, but it was the other like SWAT team that was trying to like trying to get in there.
Yeah.
And it was the Ranger Rick Sargent who wanted to overthrow the LAPD or whatever. He ends up getting contacted with him. He's like, "You're going to be my guy on the inside. Do you have any experience?" He goes like, "Oh, yeah, I was in the Merchant Marine." It's like, "All right, Marine, good."
He could only half hear him. So he only was able to pause on like the most important words, but he didn't flip out and go full on until he heard that Adam Sandler was a pool boy whom his wife had an affair with a pool boy, which is why he went in full bore. That's the only reason he flipped the script on it. And by the way, Michael Richards, full on physical comedy in that movie. I think when I first saw it, I was like, okay, that's kind of cheesy. But then after seeing it this time, like, that's a 40-some-year-old Michael Richards. I don't know if I could squirrel around the floor like that. Like that was.
I don't know if that was a stunt man, but that fall out of the air duct. that's legit. That's like an 8-foot drop, man. If that was a stunt man, kudos to that guy because his fucking back is fucked for life.
Okay, but as far as the plot of the movie, Wes, why don't you give us a breakdown? Okay, where would you rate it in? Okay. Why don't you update the thermometer, if you will? Like, where would you rank it? Like, would you certify it fresh? What percentage would you give it?
Like, hold on. What do you mean by certify it fresh?
Okay, well, like on Rotten Tomatoes, like you have certified fresh movies.
No, it's okay. If I'm basing this Rotten Tomatoes style, I would rank this, and I believe I would compare this to a Detroit Rock City, which I think is like a 71, 72. Like, listen, this isn't going to win Academies. I'm not blown away by this. I understand the laughs, but an 18, come on. This is like much more quality laughs. Hey, I was trying to think of this actually had, I don't know if, Christ, was it? Not Workaholics, damn it. Office Space stole the joke, but in the beginning of the movie, Michael McKean is telling Michael Richards' character, like, "Yeah, I'm gonna need you to come in." Like, "Oh yeah, I got some things going on. Like, I'm gonna need you to come in on Saturday." "Yeah, I can clear some things out, and Sunday." "Do you love this station?" "Yeah, I love this station. I'll be here." And remember in Office Space, It's like, "Yeah, you got to come in all weekend." So I would, again, I just think the writing of it is really well done. Is it great? No, but 71. We'll go a clean C plus movie.
Okay, I was going to give it a 75. Alan, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think those are right in that ballpark. We'll split the difference and give her a 73, right? Like
perfect.
Yeah, it's a quality. It's nothing. It's none of their best film, but like it's got a bunch of fucking familiar names, some good dialogue. And some good shithousery.
What would you compare it to? Okay, because there's other movies of this ilk that exist that people say, "Oh, that's a great movie, man." Like a Saving Silverman. Like I would say it's almost in the same category.
I said Detroit Rock City.
I don't know Detroit Rock City.
Oh, you gotta watch it, man.
Kind of works too.
If we're going by Rotten Tomatoes, I can't call that a good bad movie, but I would say watch Detroit Rock City.
Okay.
Well, look, the you might also like on Rotten Tomatoes is kind of crazy, but I'm kind of here for it. Like Police Academy 2, right? Look, this is just what's here. Blank Man, which is a phenomenal fucking film. Fucking Dracula Dead and Loving It. I think that's the Leslie Nielsen Dracula.
That was written by Mel Brooks.
Yeah, Coneheads. Classic.
Great movie. Yeah.
Yeah. And Pootie Tang. Also classic.
Oh, damn. Yeah. Okay. Now, I would say I would rank this higher than Coneheads, actually. And I enjoy Coneheads. but I feel like Coneheads is a very specific genre for a very specific sect of people that exist.
That's fair.
Okay. But and I also want to also highlight like the when this movie was made, radio was still king. So especially for somebody like me who came from radio, it's like it could make you or break you. And it was also becoming corporatized, and that whole like secrecy, we're flipping the format, we're going to do this overnight on a Sunday, Monday morning you're going to wake up to something that never existed before, and we're going to pretend that thing that didn't exist ever. Like that's how that industry was, and why it's a
crazy
dead format now.
And another thing I found peculiar is that Adam Sandler's character Pip, while he kind of fit the mold of a lot of Adam Sandler characters, especially when Steve Buscemi's character is trying to toughen him up. He's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna put my dick in your mouth, make it bleed out your ears.
I'm gonna stab you with what? My dick."
But he, about 3 or 4 times in the movie, he tries to like break race relations weirdly.
Yes.
The two, he's like, I don't understand. Black people don't like me.
But the payoff was the guy, the militant black guy who worked at the station and tried to fix the reel-to-reel. Like, eventually, when they take the hostages out of the station, the cops end up roughing him up by the van.
That's right. They let David Arquette go, and that is, that's right. Well, Airheads, everyone, check it out. 1993. Again, your socks aren't going to be knocked off, but few laughs, few enjoyables. That's another thing, Mer, when you talked about it, when radio was king, does it withstand the test of time? For people like, say, someone who's 25, would they get the same shock value out of it?
I think if they're watching it knowing it's a film of quote unquote nostalgia, then they'll get it. Like, they'll get it. Also, but I feel like what was a current theme was the notoriety that they were getting from this kind of like guerrilla marketing campaign that was going on. I actually thought that Judd Nelson is squirrely and like just dripping with like greasy scum that he was 100% onto something. Like, this record's going to be gold and no one's heard a song. Sign the deal. He was right 100%, and he's right by today's standards more than he was right by 1993 standards. Like that they drew all the people down to the station because there was this controversy and yada yada yada. They kept the mic on. The other thing that rang true for me is like, hey man, you've got all this great music, why don't you play any of it? It's like, oh well, it's not the hits. It's not the hits because you won't play it.
Right.
Like, that's a theme that continues to this day. Is that
no one knows it, babe? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. No one knows it because you won't show it to them. There's so much great shit out there. The internet has even the playing field for most of the world in most areas of entertainment, which is why all of your streaming services have like exploded and your movie theaters have died.
There was also a pretty good like, while Joe Mantegna's character and the band, for the most part, got along, there is kind of an interesting headbutt of opinions about music. Even in the midst of, like, you think they're friends and they're like, their shit sucks. Like, are you kidding? Like, today's music doesn't really ring loud. Like, and then, it's interesting while in a hostile situation that they're sitting there shooting the rap about their opinions about music, which they love.
Sure, but one is writing music that he feels is from his heart, and the one's telling him it's not. Whereas the other one's like, yeah, I mean...
The Lone Rangers.
That's exactly a great band name. I stand by that. I stand by that for all the right and wrong reasons. The Lone Rangers. We can't exactly be... How's it plural if it's lone? Like, who cares? Lone Rangers. Fuck yeah, that's a great band.
I was reading somebody's fucking, like, fan and critic reviews, and this one just got me. And any movie where David Arquette is just hanging out in the background for a majority of the runtime is good in my book.
By the way, the one thing I took away from this after it was over is that this movie is ripe for a 30-year-old sequel, where they've now become the band they always wanted to be and are now on the downslide and yada, 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 like a Bill and Ted kind of thing.
That would cost a lot of money, I think.
And now you've got Academy Award winner Brendan Fraser. And then you've also got Adam Sandler, who was the last guy on the bill for those three, is now the top dog.
Mm-hmm.
Steve Buscemi still right in the middle, exactly where he was.
Yep.
And yeah. And now you make that fucking movie, and you make a shit ton of money off of assholes like us who have nostalgia attached to this fucking film.
The only one that's dead is Farley, as far as I know.
Yeah, but he wasn't even a main player.
That's right. Oh, and I'm going to leave you on this one. Another thing that I thought was funny is that the blatant domestic dispute in which Brendan Fraser, Chaz, or Chet's girlfriend, Kayla, just beats the shit out of him from top to bottom all over the movie. Punches him, kicks him in the dick, smashes him with things, and it's just like, yeah, Chet's kind of a verbally abusive boyfriend, so Kayla takes matters into his own hands. No big deal. It just turned out like it's part of the comedy.
Till all these activists got involved.
Chet put up with it because Kayla was a hot blonde that he loved. Yeah.
He was kind of a shitbag. I mean,
yeah, total. God, kidding? Worked hard. Airheads, everyone, check it out. All right, let's expand our craniums. Let's expand our Lone Rangerness. Let's become unlone and alone in this vast universe of knowledge with Fun Fact Friday.
Let's get to it. Let's hear some mental floss. Amazing facts brought to you by our good friends over at the Shin Splints Recovery Group. Now, the Shin Splints Recovery Group seems to have stalled out a little bit with their membership, and I think it's because you haven't gotten into your beach bod form. You know how to do that? By running. You know how you get shin splints? By running. And when you get that pain below that knee and above that ankle, you're gonna need a shoulder to cry on. That's where the Shin Splints Recovery Group comes into play. And if you've been sitting on the couch letting those shin splints heal, maybe you've thought about the world. Maybe you've thought about this great big globe and or platter of ours, and maybe you've thought about discussing it with some other idiots. You can find that at the Flat Earth Science Advocates for Truth. Here it is, your Fun Fact Friday. Did you know Jeopardy's classic Think theme song was written by Merv Griffin as a lullaby for his son? Griffin called it A Time for Tony. That's the ba-na-na-na-na-na-na na-na-na-na-na.
Interesting. A Time for Tony. They never really said that, you know? They never really gave credit to that. Unless they did one of the speed ones, that, you know, the speed credits at the end of Jeopardy.
Oh, yeah.
You couldn't read anything. Yeah.
Think about this, though. Merv Griffin came up with the fucking show. Actually, his wife came up with the show Jeopardy. They made the show Jeopardy, and then he also wrote the theme song. One of the most iconic theme songs, I would think, of all time. I mean, was he just like singing Tony to bed one night and was just like, oh shit, we got the theme for the show? I mean, that's just brilliance all around. The man made money in his mind.
Probably had it was like a Fisher Price keyboard / piano that had like 14 keys. Yeah. Just sat there and it's like ding 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 ding. The kid's
go
like,
to sleep, you little shit. Fall asleep, you little motherfucker. Time to go down right now. Fuck
so
you,
I can
Tony.
fuck your mother. Now. He's asleep. All right.
Nice.
Bingo. Did you know Cuba and North Korea are the only two countries in the world that don't sell Coca-Cola, at least not officially or legally?
Damn raunchy ass Cubans.
I
What's their
think I
problem?
probably didn't know that.
Dude, those Cubans got Coca-Cola. What are you talking about? What are you going to mix your rum with? Fuck you.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point.
Malta. That nasty ass shit.
Is that a country?
Inca Cola.
Malta
It's not
is
even
that
real cola.
it's like malt. Yeah, it's tough to explain. I know of it as something you can, well, you can drink it, but most people marinate like pork in it. You get the carbonation and stuff like that. But you honestly, Murray, you can probably find it around the way where you are now. Look for it in the international Malta, Malta. It's a malt beverage. It is carbonated. Alan, it's pretty funky fresh, right?
Yep, definitely.
Is it got booze in it?
No.
No, I don't think so.
So anyway, no. Well, let's get back to the fact. They don't sell Coca-Cola in Colombia. That's nonsense. What the hell is
Cuba or North Korea? But I know that that old fucking Kim Jong Un's got himself some fucking Coca-Cola Classic sitting there underneath his little fucking war chest, which is literally a war chest.
You know what he does? He cracks open the Coca-Cola and he turns on to a good rerun of Frasier to watch Michael Richards and Kramer do his thing. And have B. Arthur on there showing her tetas.
Okay.
All right. Well, hopefully we'll get some juicier facts here. Did you know the world's narrowest street is Spurerhofstrasse in Hatter? God damn it.
The town's harder than the name.
I'm going to read this one more time. The world's narrowest street is in Spurerhofstrasse in Reutlingen, Germany. Measuring just over a foot at its most narrowest, it barely fits most pedestrians. How's that a fucking street?
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah, I was going to say that. How is that a street exactly?
Do the Germans just need like lines of sight? I mean, what are you taking through there?
Oh, yeah, like are there front doors? Is it like people's addresses?
Yeah, I was gonna say unless
mail delivered on that street.
It's a good question. It's a good question.
What do you do? You clip it to a line and kind of pull it down like you're doing laundry?
Yeah.
Foot. Yeah. That's just shimmying down the side.
Or is there one of those like shared like mailbox things at the front of the street before people go into their tiny homes?
And this is in what town again?
Oh, fuck you.
What's the name? What's the name of the street again?
The name of the street is Spurerhofstrasse.
Okay.
That's adjacent to Spear Sneikensneifen. I'm familiar with that town. Yeah,
that's in Reutlingen, Germany.
That's right. That's right.
I know you're looking this up for me.
You know what they
get the Google Street Image view.
They have the Reutlingen Bananas. It's a really good AAA soccer team where they do the shimmy shake before every penalty kick.
That's correct.
That's right.
Fuck these fun facts.
They don't even do good throw-ins. Yeah, it's illegal throw-ins every time.
Always illegal.
All right, fine. Let's get to number 4. This is the quickest Fun Fact Friday we've ever done. Did you know in November 2021, Heinz released Mars Edition, a limited edition batch of special ketchup made from tomatoes that were grown in agricultural conditions meant to mimic those on Mars. The site for this feat was the Red House, a greenhouse at the Florida Institute of Technology's Center for Advanced Manufacturing and Innovative Design.
Weren't the Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, weren't they from Mars?
Yeah, I'm sure they were. Because there was a time where we didn't know shit about outer space except for fucking Mars, because that's the only thing we could see. And and what's your fucking point, Wes?
Growing tomatoes on Mars. You better be careful. That's all.
Well, these were grown in fake Mars here on Earth, I believe.
This is like 1950s AI.
Yeah.
Careful where you grow them tomatoes. You never know. They might come back to haunt you.
They come back to attack in black and white.
Hey man, that this thing could grow to 8 feet and I don't even know. That's weird though. They didn't have legs, but they didn't roll. They just kind of like globbed, like kind of Jabba the Hutt style.
They hopped. Yeah,
they hopped.
Did they? Oh, were they Were they hoppers?
They were like little,
You know what? Just get a bunch of machetes. You'll take care of that real quick.
But you don't find it fascinating that we found a way that at least the good folks at the Heinz Ketchup Corporation were able to grow a food source in a Martian environment.
Why didn't they pass this along to the writers of The Martian? Remember? He was just sitting there using his own shit to fucking grow potatoes and then put Vicodin on it.
It's true.
Yeah.
Can I tell you something?
The Martian's a good movie, by the way. I think
it's my wife's, literally my wife's favorite movie. I have been subject, I'm not saying I watched it, but I've been subject to that movie no less than 50 fucking times. If it is on any platform at any time, it is being watched in this fucking house.
Huh. What about it is her favorite, you think?
I think it's Matt Damon's ability to be smarmy in a desolate situation that somehow gets her cockles rolling. I don't know what it. I don't know.
It's percolating.
Yeah, something about it. It's not that she's sexually attracted to Matt Damon necessarily.
Yeah.
It's that she finds it funny that he's in a life or death scenario and is still this quirky cocksucker.
Space pirate.
Matt.
Oh, there it is. Look at him. He's such a good actor.
I will say, when he's like, the scientists tell me I'll be the fastest man ever. And scientists don't use words like fastest. They use terms like velocity and they tell me, but I like it.
Yeah.
I'll be the fastest man in space. Yeah.
He says like when he's like using someone else's shit to as fertilizer to grow the potatoes.
Remember, like his own shit.
No, but the first go round, he's using the team stuff because he still has it. And
that's right.
Someone took some real foul dumps. He's like, he's like Johansson. Oh my god. I always found that to be particularly funny.
It's such a tragic.
If you were stuck on Mars and you need got to break open all this shit for soil, fertile soil, and you cracked open West Fox's tin, you're like, "Wah!" I'd be like, ha ha, got him, did it.
Smells like mustard and dog peanut butter.
It's Wes again, scooping out the dog peanut butter.
And finally, did you know? On this day in 1911, composer Gustav Mahler died in bed, conducting an imaginary orchestra. His last word was Mozart!
Weird. Why was that his last word?
I don't know, and I wonder how he yelled it. I wonder if he was like, Mozart. Like this was glorious, like using it as like a sign, like a word of adulation, like, Mozart. Or if he was like James T. Kirk in fucking like Star Trek 2, like Mozart. Like he was fucking pissed. Yeah. Like I'd love to know the exclamation behind that.
I think you're romanticizing this gravely. I think the guy was dying of fucking cancer and he was hallucinating beyond belief. I think he was already at death's door. So much so that he was like, Winwoods, bass, percussion, like he was, well, woodwind, sure. Sorry, yeah.
What?
Frasier.
Me, Bernstein. But maybe it was the greatest symphony never heard. You never know.
Maybe he just whispered it. He was like, Mozart.
Like, hey, like he was seeing him, like he was getting to the next realm, and was like, oh, hey, Mozart. I got it. I God damn it.
Yeah. My Airheads version would be Mozart,
like Rose, and then he shit himself. Yes,
yeah.
And that, my friends, is your Fun Fact Friday.
All right, we had a couple of passings this week, and we at the Middle Class Holes only pay the absolute best tributes. So, longtime Cleveland Browns social activists, African American purist great Jim Brown passed away. Alan, and you wanted me to pass the mic to you when I said
Godfather of Soul passed
away. Godfather.
Hey, that Jim Brown.
Get up, get on up.
You can't see my feet under here, but I'm going to town. Well, that's sad. That's a sad loss for the music industry, man. You know,
I don't even know. I had to look it up. James Brown, which you're talking about, passed away like more than 10 years ago.
is it been more than 10 years?
I think it was
I'm gonna say
05.
like, yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah.
like 03,
06.
05, so 06. Okay, look at that.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, not James Brown, the Godfather of Soul. Jim Brown, Cleveland Browns running back, who then became actor, who then became social activist, passed away. I think it was like just like 81 years young, and that's a
Guy they
shame.
named the Browns after. Nice.
Yeah, that's right. They named the Brown. They were the Cleveland football team, and then when Jim Brown started just fucking setting records and running for, I don't know, 1,400 yards in 4 game seasons, they were like, "Yeah, we are the Browns."
4 game seasons.
Browns. Yeah, that kind of sucks. He was, he's a big figure. How old was he? You said 80 something.
81.
He was
I-
like, he was like, yeah, 1934, something like that. I will say, one of the things I wanted to say about him was when they were doing like the civil rights movement, long before any of us were born, but trying to be a decent human being and learn things about it, you would see either pictures or videos, and it was regularly Lou Alcindor, later Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Muhammad Ali, Cassius Clay, later Muhammad Ali, and Jim Brown, and all of them. He was always there, front and center, next with Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. I don't know. It's just, hey, obviously I didn't grow up in African American, but if I were to in that time be like, yeah, that's my guy. That's what I fucking want to be like. I get it. I get it, man. And he also had the first biracial sex scene in Hollywood cinema, and that lucky bastard got to do it with Raquel Welch. Oh,
Really, man,
yeah.
went all the way. Hey, it's
That's
like,
Well, no, he didn't penetrate her.
no, I'm just saying, like,
So
like
says you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm just saying though, at the time in Hollywood, they could have given him some fucking slug. Like, all right, you're gonna touch a white woman on screen. Who is it? Greta Van Thunder Cliven. Like who?
B. Arthur.
But no, he got Raquel Welch. You know what I mean? He got the cream de la cream. He got
right.
he got it all.
Yeah, he had to
Yeah,
actually.
that's
He was doing an interview where he had to tell her specifically not to do something because it would give him a hard on. Like, yeah, you can't kiss or lick around like a certain part of my neck because that will instantly give me a fucking Jim Brown, Cleveland Browns fucking.
That's my spot right there.
Yeah, that's gonna my.
I will inadvertently kill you. I will stab you through the abdomen. That's what will happen.
You will be launched through the camera crew into the sound man.
That's saying something in a time of like civil rights, though, right? Like, you don't just let some black guy kiss up on any old white lady. You know what I mean? That's Raquel Welch. That was like daytime TV royalty, right? At the time,
That was Raquel
I
Welch
know.
was like Hollywood.
was it
I think
Hollywood?
at that point, because she had done, was it Planet of the Apes?
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
I mean,
Bottom
she
line is, look, Jim Brown was like one of these guys who was like a time traveler. He was like a fucking running back from today, set in like the fucking earliest era of the fucking NFL, and it's 10 seasons. It's what Barry Sanders based his career on. I mean, in a way, I'm almost mad at Jim Brown for retiring in 10 years because fucking Barry Sanders was like, nope, that's how long it took Jim Brown to set his records. This is where I call it a day too, even though he had another 5 fucking seasons left in him. And so, like he set the standard for what that position should and could be.
You're absolutely
also-
right. Like, go ahead, down.
I was going to say, I mean, kudos to them for calling it quits because, like, look, he lived to 81 and he could still eat yogurt and fucking, you know what I mean? Like, so, like, he could have just kept going and not been alive. We'd been doing this fucking 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're absolutely like, okay, so one of the prototypical wide receivers of like the 70s is Fred Biletnikoff. I don't know if you guys like, you can look that up.
Yeah.
He was a short white guy for the Raiders. That guy could not be a wide receiver today. No, I'm not taking anything away. There's a Biletnikoff Award in the NCAA for the best receiver of the season. My point is like when you say like, okay, these guys were great, but if you transport them to today's NFL, no shot. Jim Brown, fuck yeah. That guy's still a really good running back. Now you might have to teach him a little bit about the receiving game and certain aspects of it. But like, okay, I'm gonna hand you the ball and you're gonna hit that A gap and just fucking smash that linebacker's teeth in. Like, yep, okay, 6 yards. It could still happen.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think Jim Brown's one of those few players from yesteryear that you could just transplant in today's game and he'd still be a top 10 running back, if not the best running back in the league. Like, and that's a very rare thing to do. Like Tom Brady, you send him back in time, still the greatest NFL quarterback that's ever fucking existed. Now you take somebody, I don't want to name names because I don't want to get fucking like raked over the coals. But you take some of the greatest quarterbacks from back then and put them today. They're Blaine Gabberts. Like they can make the team, but they may not be what you hope they would be.
Wait, I gotta throw the ball 24 times? Jesus, the fuck is this?
It's insanity.
Where's Jim? I'm supposed to hand it to him.
What is this over two? This is 2 games, right? This is 2 games worth of stats.
Yeah.
2 games worth of attempts.
Like, why are there even this many pass plays in the playbook?
It should be 2, 3 tops.
3 of them.
There's a really good, and Al and I had mentioned this to you when we were playing golf on Saturday. This is UFC 1, which got the sanction somewhere in bumfuck Colorado because it's the only place that they could get the actual the state athletic commission to sign off on it. Yeah. And they host this event where they're going to put together the UFC that we know of today. Number 1 was this martial art against this martial art, wrestling versus judo versus karate versus 600-pound sumo wrestler versus fucking
judo.
Judo, someone who smashes coconuts over their heads and runs into the ring versus the Ultimate Warrior, WWF. And they have a play-by-play and color analyst team ringside. And then they figure we need to get someone in here to spark things up. Jim Brown. They had Jim Brown. He's like, oh man, someone's getting the shit kicked out of him in there. Someone's getting fucked up good. I just thought that was funny.
It's good. It's a solid pickup, for marketing in 1993.
That's right. Oh, JB, you're not doing too much. You want to come watch people get the shit kicked out of them, talk about it? Yeah. Sure, $5,000.
Do you want to watch this Brazilian guy spend a total of 3 minutes choking people out in the ring? It's gonna be fucking great.
Lied on his back.
Yeah.
He didn't know what he didn't know what a real naked choke was, and he didn't know what a tap was. He's like, he's patting him on the back, telling him he's done a good job. Look at that.
He's doing a good job. He's turning blue.
Well, rest in peace, the Godfather of Soul.
Yeah.
Do we do anything about Tina Turner?
Probably.
Other than the fact that her husband is mentioned 75,000 times in rap lyrics about men beating women.
Yeah, I was gonna say, man, everybody talks about Tina Turner. If Ike was so bad, why didn't she change her name? I mean,
it's kind of marketing though. It's like branding.
Was she was Tina Turner before Ike, right? Maybe.
No.
Did Ike take her name?
I guess Ike Turner, right?
Like the White Stripes? No.
No, I mean I know what you're saying, but what did she perform as prior to fucking?
She didn't. That's the whole thing. Ike got mad because everybody loved Tina, and he got a little upset because she was getting all the accolades, and he's like, I formed this shit. I'll tell you what though. Ike and Tina, man, that shit slaps.
Yeah. I don't know their story like that.
Shit slaps.
Thank you. I was waiting for the domestic violence joke. Come on.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. I think it's just there was a handful of people that I know personally who saw her perform live, and people who in the, I guess, socialite world who I respect, who said one of the greatest live acts they've ever seen.
Oh, dude. I mean, those legs, man. She might have died at 80-something, but those legs were 35.
Yeah.
mean, that was those things were insured because they were glorious. I'd like, actually, when we get done this show, I'm probably going to be looking at a lot of Tina Turner leg shots on the old Bing image search.
Solid.
No joke, man.
Good late night choice.
Oh, and if without Tina Turner, there would be no Thunderdome. Think about it.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's the shittiest Mad Max movie by far. Did she do anything else? Did she do any other acting?
I think she did some. I mean, but I think by the 90s she was dried up in the old acting biz. But she never lost the voice. I mean, the voice was always that loud, raspy fucking thing that it is.
Yeah. Well, rest in peace. One of the greatest live acts of all time, according to other people. Some people
according to people that are not us.
According to people that are not us. 83. Good for her.
Yeah.
Good for her. All right. Do we have any parting words?
Bye.
Rolling, 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 rolling on the hill. Good night.